2024 is almost over. Can you believe it? And it's time to kick back and think about all the great games I played this year. And then pick my top 5 because that's the format, but boy oh boy is that getting increasingly difficult each year. Feel free to share your favorites with me. A dystopian sci-fi story that doesn't feel as far off as it should, with stunning pixel art and cinematic camera movement, Minds Beneath Us really got its hooks into me this summer. This choose-your-own adventure with puzzle elements impressed me with its tight world building and meaningful choices. In this world, every menial job has been given over to AI, which has left a lot of already poor citizens in an impossible position. Because what is it that AI needs? A lot of computing power. Our nameless protagonist learns the hard way what this means. In the incredibly exciting intro to this game, we learn that we are some sort of entity called an MBU, which can take over other people's bodies. It just so happens we land in the brain of one Jason Dye, who is about to start a new job at Vision Corp. The workplace is called a farm. And what do you think is farmed here? That's right, people's brains for computing power. Very dystopian, very cyberpunk. Chilling to think how close we actually are to this scenario. Then there's also the moral quandary concerning poor Jason himself. He didn't sign up for having his body taken over by some sort of brain parasite, but here he is, asking you to take his choices into consideration because he doesn't want to be over by the things you do. There really hasn't been a game that made me pause and think about decisions quite like Minds Beneath Us has. Because there's not just me and my moral compass, but also this dude whose control has been wrested away from him and who wants to be heard. On top of all of that is a very cool corporate thriller. I absolutely loved my time with this game, and if you have 15 hours to spare, go get it. I knew that The Rise of the Golden Idol had a very good chance of ending up on my Games of the Year list. I absolutely loved the first one, and the sequel definitely did not disappoint. These two games are the best puzzle deduction games in existence. Gameplay is very similar to the first one. You get one or multiple screens where something has happened, and it's a matter of finding clues, collecting words, and solving the riddles you are presented with. Sometimes you need to figure out the hierarchy of a company. Other times you need to decode a dance. Most importantly, you need to figure out the sequence of events. The sequel does add some twists though. Every level is made up of multiple self-contained puzzles that tell a mini-story that also needs to be solved. So you have different layers of storytelling and puzzle solving. For an extra challenge, you don't get the puzzles in the level in chronological order, so you definitely need to revisit the scenes once you're done with them to get the right order of things. You need to keep track of dates, people, and events. The Rise of the Golden Idol is so good because it reinvents its own formula. It tells so many stories, keeps track of every little detail, and then gives you satisfying conclusions to all of it. There's nothing more amazing than cracking the code to the overarching story, I promise. I had to take breaks every once in a while because my brain was tied into knots at times and I just didn't see what was right in front of my eyes. But every time, without fail, when I came back with a fresh mindset, things would fall into place. If you love riddles, then there's no better game this year than The Rise of the Golden Idol. Have you ever had the urge to play The Sims, but wanted more emotions and more impactful decisions? Then look no further than Closer the Distance. It starts off with the death of Connie's sister. And since Yesterby is a very small community, everyone in the town is affected by this tragedy. And it seems like Angie's ghost somewhat lingers here. Her influence over everyone is palpable, and some of the inhabitants are still guided by what used to be her wishes. Or at least that's what some of them seem to think. Connie's convinced that it's now up to her to keep everyone else going, like her sister used to. River wants to give Yesterby a financial push, but has to grapple with the fact that Angie might not have been in the same boat, and now River doesn't know what to do. It's up to you as the player to guide some of these people along their path, and choose where you want them to go, and to decide if Angie really is guiding them, or if her presence is grief externalized. This is a tale of a town in crisis, and of individuals grappling with a terrible loss. Of course it made me cry, you know I'm prone to that at this point. But it's also a story of healing and community. What might look at first like a wedge driving everyone apart can also become the glue that brings them back together. Closer the Distance is a game about grief. But grief isn't the end. We all know that eventually we move on, keeping that person in our hearts, but go on without them. And Closer the Distance shines its light on that as well. It doesn't condemn you if the town gets fractured, but makes sure to say an ending is also always a new beginning. Botany Manor is a short and sweet first-person puzzler with magical realism, taking place in the late 1800s on the grounds of a beautiful home. As protagonist Arabella Green, an older woman aspiring to be a botanist, you task yourself with chronicling rare plants. For that, we collect seeds and need to find clues about how to make each plant bloom. You definitely have to be an attentive reader and shouldn't mind going back and forth a bit. Fortunately, the paths aren't that expansive, and the herbarium to be gives you a mechanic to sort the tidbits you find and match them to specific plants. In my opinion, the puzzles are mostly on the easier side. This is more of a relaxing than taxing experience. It left a lot of room to explore the entirety of the manor and just enjoy the lovingly crafted scenery. And the beautiful flowers, of course. Because these aren't your run-of-the-mill boring plants where you need months of patience to make them grow. These are somewhat magical ones that will bloom the second you figure out what it is they need. And what it is they need can be super varied. Maybe the call of a specific bird or a certain light spectrum. Either way, it is very rewarding to watch them grow before your eyes when you finally cracked the puzzle. You can tell that the artists had a lot of fun with designing these plants, and they really worked hand in hand with the puzzle and narrative designers to make it all come to life. It fits together so neatly, which I absolutely loved. And the story about an older woman fighting for her right to be heard in the scientific landscape that is dominated by men was both heartbreaking and heartwarming. Real women like the fictional Arabella Green are the reason we are where we are today, both scientifically and in terms of the feminist movement. And finally, my favorite game of 2024 is Neva. There really couldn't be another one. Neva grabbed my heart when I started playing and still hasn't let go. The intro already made me cry, and you can bet it wasn't the last time during my playthrough. Neva is a 2D platformer with fighting elements, but honestly it feels so wrong breaking this game down to its gameplay mechanics because it's so much more than that. It's a piece of art. And I'm not just saying that because the art direction blew me away. So, while it's certainly true that the movement is fluid and the fights feel really good and crunchy, the most important things about Neva are its themes. The chapters are named after seasons, the first indicator that this game is about. As Elba, together with her wolf cub Neva, you start in spring, where everything is growing and beautiful. But soon you realize that there is a corruption getting a foothold in your world. This corruption grows deeper and stronger over the course of the year, no matter how hard you try to fight it. But nevertheless, you go out to find the source. Neva, always by your side. She grows and learns new abilities that help you reach higher places and fight harder battles. And all of it happens on this beautiful canvas of a game. The levels look... I can't come up with a word that's strong enough for how I feel. They are stunning. From gorgeous meadows to dark and creepy caves, this game has it all. And every single piece is just mind-blowing. Add the story of a girl bonding with her animal companion, and you have a recipe for the best game of the year. At least in my book. Neva is beautiful, devastating, and has a place in my heart. Thank you for indulging me and my very subjective take on Game of the Year. Hope you all have a wonderful 2025.